I'm trying to develop more meaning to the artwork that I'm doing, and for it to speak to especially the country that I live in now, and embracing the culture that is here and the message. There's so many different stories
Wow.
that the country has
Mm.
got to tell, and to tell the world, in fact.
Mm.
So I'm still doing art right now.
It's lovely to meet you here on Zoom. Thank you for
Thank
contacting me and telling me about what you do. So
no,
where are you based?
I'm based in South Africa, in Durban. Yeah.
Oh, lovely Durban. I seem
Yes.
to speak to quite a few artists there in Durban, so it's wonderful to know, people from that part of South Africa.
Yeah.
So
No,
were
it's
you
really
born there?
Yes, I was born right here in Durban by the ocean, lovely
Oh,
place to be.
wonderful. Mm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as a child, did you do some form of art? Did you play music or take art or anything at school?
Yeah, from a very young age, I would say that I was always creatively inclined, and there was always something I was doing that was related to art. And I think I remember there was a time even there was like a small little gallery exhibition that they hosted for us small little kids. I think I was in grade 3 or grade 2 or something, and I even got uh, an award there. And I'm like, I was so
Really?
stoked, I was so happy, and that's one of the core memories I remember from when I was a young child, where it's like, oh, art is an inborn thing. And so from there, I continued practicing art. And when I hit the age of 14, I think that was in 2019, I started to take it much more seriously. And then I opened an Instagram account just to show all the progress and just create a portfolio in my collection of artworks that I did, because I was always drawing pictures of my friends, my family, and they gave me a lot of compliments and a lot of encouragement from doing art. And so that's from a young child. Yeah, I'm still young, but I'm still
Yeah,
yeah,
but I know what you
yeah,
mean. And yeah,
yeah.
but so you didn't take art lessons. It was just something that came from you.
No, yeah. I didn't take any art lessons. There was art that was provided at my school, but I didn't choose art as a subject. I always decided to do it independently, because there were other subjects where I felt was more beneficial for the field that I want to go in, which is architecture.
Mm.
So I instead of art, I chose geography. So at least I had
Oh, I
a
see. Okay.
balance of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
But I always, when I hear artists talk about, people talk about their story and how they started, and there's always something when they were young where somebody encouraged them, where there was a teacher saying, wow, you've got talent, or so, like you said, you won a little prize at a at an art exhibition. Um, do you find this encouragement is something that you need, that that sort of, as a young child, that sort of kept you going and kept you motivated to learn more or to draw more?
No, yeah, I think for every single child, having some sort of support or encouragement from somebody who you see as valuable to you is a very, very important thing. So when I was younger, I did get support from my teachers, but mainly from my parents, mainly from my dad, because my dad is also, I inherited the creative side from
Oh,
him.
really?
So he's been really pushing me and encouraging me to find ways of expressing myself and being creative. Literally in everything I do, he's like, try a creative way of doing it. And like it's been that way since until now. Yeah. So
So
it's always important to have encouragement.
does he also paint? Is he also a painter
No,
or
he's
not?
not, but he used to when he was younger. But
So,
yeah, yeah.
mm. So then from there on, you said, and academically, so you from a young age, you knew you wanted to do architecture or study architecture.
Yes. I knew from a young age that I wanted to do architecture. And I get questioned a lot, like, why didn't you want to do art instead of architecture? Because you seem like you enjoy art a lot. Yes, it's true. I do enjoy doing art and trying all these techniques and all these mediums. But I feel like I need something, not to say that art isn't challenging, but I need I need to I need to have something that will constantly be make me go on my toes. And I feel like
Oh, I
the
see. I
adrenaline is
understand.
there,
Yeah.
and then you problem solve. There's many problem solving things. You integrate many aspects of society when it comes to practicing architecture and designing things. There's so many things that are incorporated when it comes to architecture, not only the design aspect, but that is the foundation of architecture, being able to storytell, and it also links with the art. So I'm just glad that the background of art is a very important thing when it comes to uh, architecture, because obviously storytelling, trying to derive a meaning from try to derive a meaning from the pieces that you paint and also the buildings that you create. It all has a link together. So yeah.
Yeah, but I spoke to Wessel van Dijk. He's an architect in Stellenbosch, and he's also doing art. He's doing etching and lino work and so on. And he said when he was studying, also it was one of his teachers who sort of encouraged him to do that as well. So there is such a great link, and like you say now, about the storytelling, about the creating and problem solving, and so important that I mean, architecture is a form of art, but that there's that link.
No, I was just going to reiterate the same thing, the importance of how art and architecture plays a huge impact in society, and how it impacts people's feelings, even literally living in a house that has a meaning. Maybe it's a cultural maybe the building was made in the cultural context, or trying to inherit that cultural identity and speak that story of the site or wherever the landscape is. And the same thing goes with the pieces you make, you know. That's why I'm saying there's the really important link between art and architecture, and how it really plays a big role in society today.
Mm. As a child, were you interested in form or shape or buildings, or I would, because you think of architecture as sort of shape, you think, were you aware of that, aware of buildings, or did that interest you in some way?
I must say that the the idea of the different forms of the shapes of the buildings, and all these lovely different shapes. I was interested in them. I did see that there were quite unique types of buildings out there, and I'm wondering, why is this building this color, or why
Oh,
is this thing,
really?
funky thing this side, or I don't know what this thing is. I don't know what a beam was. I didn't know any of those things. So the shapes and the forms of buildings, along with me researching the different types of architectural styles and how each form has a meaning within that style, is it's very informative. But I think as a young child, it was more just curiosity and wondering, like as you're saying, I was curious of the different forms and shapes of the different buildings, from small buildings to big buildings. But I think here where I live in South Africa, I think there could still be a lot more buildings of different backgrounds, or that have different, not necessarily they're all the same, but something more different, you know. Yeah.
So can you see, is that your interest too, sort of speak through buildings and you know, culturally saying, okay, this is something that we have to think about?
Yeah, I think because I'm still very new to this whole space and architecture, it's all a journey of understanding, as you're saying, the different contexts and trying to make a footprint in society, especially here in South Africa, with a lot of cultural history and using buildings as a way of doing that, along with literal pieces of artwork. Trying to replicate or trying to portray history in that way. History, the untold history, mainly the untold history of South Africa. Um, and the main thing that uh, I want to bring across is that there are a lot of youth nowadays. There's a lot of talented youth that they get the history and the wisdom from their parents or their grandparents, but they don't know where to take that wisdom to and how to portray
Oh,
that
yeah.
wisdom. So using art and various forms of things, not only architecture and art, even baking, even the things that you cook, even the things that you make, beadwork, jewelry, clothes, whatever it may be, it can really also tell a story as well. And I think here in South Africa, we need a lot more exposure. I'm just very happy to hear that you have been interviewing a lot of people here from South Africa, and it makes me
Yeah, I
happy
do. Yeah.
because, yeah,
Mm.
at
No, I
least
do.
we're getting, yeah,
Yeah. But I really do. I would love to highlight also, you know, the talent that's there. And um, I'm just, if I think of the one young artist that I spoke to there in Durban area, I don't know exactly where he is from, but also, you know, from a rural area, and the most beautiful things he does, and he's self-taught, you know, and
mm,
he learns from watching others, he learns from other artists, and but doing his own thing. And I think that is so wonderful about South Africa, is that it's really, I feel people get out there and do things, you know, with all the limitations and all the obstacles, they still do things. So I love that, and I think that's something that's worth showing.
yeah, indeed, yeah, I agree.
So you are where are you now in your studies in architecture?
So, as I was saying, I'm quite new to this whole field of architecture because I took a gap year. Well, last year was my gap year. Now I'm going into UP to study architecture. So the whole of my gap year, I was working in an architectural firm and
Oh, I see.
engaging in the activities of the office and coming up with ideas. And I think it really helped me. There was a lot of exposure in that. And I think it's safe to say that I'm not oblivious to anything when it comes to architecture and the pressures of architecture and the creative side of architecture, as well as the technical side of architecture. So, but by the end of the day, I still have a lot to learn from it. But yeah,
Well,
that's
I
where I'm
think
at. Yeah.
I think you'll have to listen to a Wessel van Dyke's story, and then you'll see all the different things, you know, he had to do before he could eventually become an architect. So
Yeah.
um, I think all these things, and like you say, taking the gap year and going to see what it's about, what the industry is about, um, it it gives you more sort of an insight, you know, to where you are heading.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And it's quite a long journey, actually. Or from what I've seen, it's quite a long journey when it comes
Yeah,
to being an architect. You can only become a well-known, in most cases, a well-known architect, like maybe when you're 50 or 60 years old, because it's quite a journey, yeah.
yeah.
So I'll give a listen to
I think
Vessel.
if I remember right, there was an American architect. Is it Frank Lloyd Wright?
Yes.
who designed these amazing buildings and so in nature and so with nature, but also that I've read that he made so many mistakes as well. So, that's, I think, part and parcel, and we don't always realize it. You see the end
Yeah.
result, but you don't know everything that happened in the meantime.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a process. I think the main thing about architecture is that that's reiterated a lot is the process. How did you get to this? How did you think
Yeah.
about this? It's a lot of the process that is unspoken of when it comes to the people at the receiving end, seeing the final product. So you mustn't forget about the process, because the process is
Exactly.
a story of its own. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. And now, still, do you do your artwork still? I mean, do you still paint on the side?
Yes, I still do paint. I currently even have another commission, quite a big commission that I have in the process. Yeah, my Instagram is still going. I'm still posting things, and I'm trying to develop more meaning to the artwork that I'm doing, and for it to speak to especially the country that I live in now, and embracing the culture that is here and the message. There's so many different stories
Wow.
that has got to tell, and to tell the world, in fact. So I'm still doing art right now. Yes.
But that's wonderful because I think, and this is what many artists say, is that it's sort of that the artwork should speak or should say something or should mean something.
Yeah.
And it's great that you at a young age already understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just hope that more young people really get that engraved in their mind, because there's so much to offer as a young person. I think it's, I don't know whether it's imposter syndrome or what, because even for me, I had a time where I think when I got invited to exhibit my artwork at an art gallery, I think, how old was I? 15 or 16. And I was like so scared because there's so many
Really?
adults around me. And I think I was the youngest person that was ever like able to um, exhibit at that gallery. And it's quite a renowned gallery. It's the KZNSA Art Gallery. So I was able to showcase my art there, and I felt like, whoa, there's so many older people than me. But I got well received, and the people that saw my artwork, they all gathered around it. And I felt really encouraged from that day that it's like, okay, I actually do have the potential to, if I can say, infiltrate these spaces, if not do better than what I'm seeing around me. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't want us as the youth to feel afraid to step into these spaces, because it's a matter of time where we will have to step into these spaces, and if not now, then if you don't have the
Yeah,
opportunity to do it now, then when? Yeah,
exactly. And it's all about the process,
yeah,
but I agree with you about the youth, and I think it's something that I also wish for, and this is why I do this project as well, is to show the importance of art, and also the importance of art in education, and that this is a skill that you have, and not you don't have to do exhibitions, but I think the skills from pursuing an art form is transferable to other jobs as well. So even if you don't go into an art direction, even if you go into law or you go into some other job, then you can still use these skills that you've acquired from pursuing an art form.
Hmm. I think at the end of the day, every single human has an element of creativity in them. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
in every job that there is, as you're saying, there is a acquired skill that they will practice in that job or whatever they're doing, whatever activity that they're doing. So I totally agree with that. Yeah.
I wanted to say also, because you're from Durban and that area, I remember as a child we used to go on holiday there, and there is some of the most amazing beadwork being done in that area. I don't know if it's just in that area, but I can remember as a child women making these amazing beadworks. And that is so something that's taken for granted, I think, in South Africa, but it's such a beautiful form of art as well. Do young people still do that?
I think now there's become more of an exposure towards those who are creating these types of jewelry and beadwork, and there are more young people, if I can say, that are also tapping into that.
Interesting.
Yes, and it's still very prominent. There are many people who do these types of jewelry, and then
Really?
when tourists comes around, especially by the beach time, December time, the holiday time,
I
everyone
know.
comes.
Yeah.
And then, they get to see all these beautiful beadwork and artwork and everything like that. Yes.
I remember as a child, when we went down to Ivongo Beach there at, I think it's more the southern part. And I remember every year my mom used to buy me, either a bracelet or a little necklace or something. It was always the thing when we go down that we buy some of the jewelry.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I'm
So,
glad to get it.
yeah. So tell me, what are your wishes for the future? What would you like to do?
Wow, that's a good question.
Or
I
the
think
dream. Let me ask, what is the
yeah.
dream?
Yes, the dream. The dream is to really reach out to the voices. I like the whole thing that you're doing, the artist's voice, not necessarily the same thing, but to achieve the same essence of it. To mainly the youth, because I think from what I've experienced, it was quite a difficult time trying to get heard in a way to showcase my artwork and to really um, uh, get my artwork out there. At least I had that support with my family, but
Right.
support from outside, it's really hard to get into these spaces and have at least organizations or places where kids can come and showcase the work that they do and also feel encouraged from the external world of art. So that's what I want to do. I want to create those spaces, even if it's an organization, even if it's a gallery or some sort, to make their voices heard and to make them feel encouraged that they can reach for the stars, they can do whatever
Absolutely.
their heart desires. So I think that's the crux of basically what I want to do, and I really want to focus on the people here in South Africa as well, and even just Africa actually, to reach out to those, because there's so many talented people, as I was saying, that are here in Africa, and make
Yeah.
their voices heard and speak the stories, the untold stories, to the whole world. I think it would really change society for the greater good, understanding these stories. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I've also been speaking to a lot of artists over in Nigeria and Tanzania, and wonderful, wonderful art that's being created in Africa, and I think it's great if people want to highlight it, or if it's seen, and even if it's seen in the community, it's inspiring. And it's like this young artist, Cian, I can't remember his surname now, but Cian said to me that, he would like to inspire other young people to also start painting and also start creating, because I think that's, for a community, so uplifting, isn't it? It's like taking people off the streets and giving them some purpose, or giving them something that to look forward to, or something to strive for.
No, yeah, I agree. And that purpose is it's a very very important thing when it comes to
Yeah,
people's well-being and their self-esteem. They feel that they're useful in society, you know.
yeah,
So even making money from it, that can help their families as well. And sadly, what if
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Mm.
There's a dancer in Nigeria, no, Tanzania, I can't remember now, but he teaches young people to dance so that they can dance and get money for it, you know, so that they can make a living from dance. And I think how wonderful that one artist takes his talent, teach somebody else so that they can make a living as well. So
Mm.
I really think your idea of bringing people together and young people and giving them the opportunity and giving them the space to show their art. And I think that's encouraging, because I also think it sometimes I wonder if it's also not so encouraging if you have all these wonderful works of art that you try to make and that nobody sees them. You know, they may be hidden just in a house somewhere. And uh, I think it's encouraging when somebody sees it, and like you said in the beginning, just somebody acknowledging your potential or acknowledging that you are talented. That's already a good thing.
No, yeah, that's a really good thing. Just to get people out of their shells, you know, and get them
Absolutely.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kgali, I absolutely will support you, and anything I can do, if I can speak to one young artist that you recommend, I will absolutely do that.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I will recommend. There are quite a few people that I can recommend to you.
Oh, wonderful. Then we'll do that. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was so lovely to talk to you.
I'd love to talk to you too. Yeah.